Professor Snape was a single mother. Hermione's in a wheelchair. Guess which character's actually gay? All of them?
You gain control of J.K. Rowling's Twitter account for a day. What unnecessary piece of information do you add to Harry Potter lore? I don't think I could top the post she made about wizards disappearing their poo with magic before muggles invented toilets. Forgot to tell you guys, Draco Malfoy was transgendered. All the signs were there if you just read the books. The fourth unforgivable curse lets you say the N-word. Harry's great-grandfather is Mexican. It is never specified that Harry is male. The boy who lived. Clearly you don't understand. He has male anatomy, but identifies as a female. Stop being so closed-minded. The reason Dumbledore didn't bring back Harry's parents with the time turner is because Dumbledore always wanted a son of his own, but then changed his mind a few years later and dumped him at the Dursleys. Harry became a Minecraft Let's Player after he left Hogwarts. Neville's frog is gay. The Whomping Willow was gay. Harry converts to Islam. When you're using the invisible cloak, you're not actually invisible. You're naked. They just choose to ignore you as to not make things awkward. Harry and Ron used some of Hermione's hair plus Polyjuice potion to kill some time in the dormitories. The sorting hat was 100% unnecessary for class distribution. Its primary purpose was to get rid of head lice. Twilight is absolutely in the same universe. Hagrid's dog Fluffy and Mrs. Norris were lovers. Ron and Hermione's safe wordies, Mudblood. Snape was a stamp collector. This is the real reason James Potter bullied him. Harry frequently entered the girls' dormitory. What else are you supposed to do with an invisibility cloak and the Marauders map? Harry was originally supposed to be Latino. Buckbeak was a metaphor. Ron likes to take all his clothes off when he poops. Voldemort's parents were anti-vax. Voldemort's penises also have snake-slit noses. At the time of bringing his kids to platform 9 3/4 at the end of the 7th book, Harry is out on bail for wizard tax evasion due to hiring Percy as his accountant. There is a Wizarding World version of Magic the Gathering called Muggles the Congregation. Hermione was actually a collective delusion shared by Harry and Ron. Snape was a never nude. Moaning Myrtle was masturbating in the bathroom when she dies, hence the name Moaning Myrtle. She was reported as crying, based on what an ignorant first year claimed. Harry put his name in the Goblet of Fire. How do you know? Did you ask him calmly? Ron is adopted and dyes his hair. Harry doesn't have a left pinky toe. It was the only part of him hurt by the killing curse when he was a baby. And then all of us fan theorists will wonder why Lily didn't love his left pinky toe. Harry pronounces it GIF, not GIF. The sock that freed Dobby was actually a Potter family heirloom, having been worn by Bobby Charlton in the 1966 FIFA World Cup final. The Potters were very quiet about how they came to acquire it. I'd clarify that Dumbledore wasn't really gay, just gay for pay. Figured that way. Nobody is happy. A gag for a galleon? Dumbledore. Hagrid was a metaphor for the misunderstanding and mistreatment of furries. George Weasley was adopted, not Fred though. I actually always envisioned Dumbledore aggressively asking Harry, maybe even yelling, if he put his name in the Goblet of Fire. The Forbidden Forest is forbidden because Dumbledore and Hagrid have an illegal grow-up hidden inside. The Wizarding School is a front to launder money. And nobody is actually at a magic school at all. They are all just stoned AF.
You're a
dealer.
Harry.
Muggle orphanages know about magic, and when an orphan shows magical prowess they phone the Ministry of Magic for pickup and leave the baby outside. The ministry hasn't figured out how voicemail works and never come to pick up the children. The protagonist was actually the flying car, and everything after is just epilogue. That most people don't play beyond their early 20s because they develop Quidditch hustle. That the Queen of England is a living Horcrux and that's why she just won't die. Fred and George Weasley switched places during the Battle of Hogwarts. When George died, Fred adopted George's life, complete with cutting off his ear, because he figured George wouldn't want him to spoil the joke. There's a witch writer called K.J. Rowling, famous for her Muggle book series Herald Rogers, where the protagonist engages in wacky Muggle adventures. Hagrid tried fur and didn't really care for it. Voldemort doesn't have a butthole after resurrection. After book 2, and the Polyjuice experiment, Ron and Hermione permanently switched places. Hagrid shaves all his body hair from the neck down. Voldemort was voluntarily circumcised at the age of 18. Witches and wizards have microscopic beings called Magichlorians that live within their bodies, which grant them access to magic. Magichlorians eat dark matter and shit out raw magic into the wizards' bodies. Did you ever hear the tragedy of Lord Tom the Riddle? I thought not. It's not a story the Ministry of Magic would tell you. It's a Death Eater's legend. Lord Tom was a dark wizard of the coast, so powerful and so wise he could use a wand to influence the Magichlorians to create life. He had such a knowledge of the wizard side that he could even keep the ones he cared about from dying. The wizard side of the magic is a pathway to many abilities some consider to be unnatural. He became so powerful the only thing he was afraid of was losing his power, which eventually, of course, he did. Unfortunately, he taught his apprentice everything he knew, then his apprentice killed him in his sleep. Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.
Ironic. He could save others from death, but not himself.